have been so funny if Vance went to Trump as his meme, and then Trump decided, I'm going to take off all this orange makeup, I'm going to put on white makeup, and I'm going to look like the Joker for a day. Remember the Obama Joker meme? But Trump actually does it and embraces it. And oh no, we have the Joker. Imagine the CNN articles. The Joker is president. Oh no, 25th Amendment. No, it's just celebrating Halloween. But
yeah, it's just the whole entire thing of that people like Joe just getting completely butthurt because we don't act the way that their side acts whenever we do stuff that makes fun of them. They get angry because we're not angry. And then whenever we embrace it, there's like, why aren't you getting mad about it? We're making fun of you. And it's like, dude, it's a joke. What is there to be mad about?
Well, speaking of being mad, folks, we've got a Rumble cultist here. So we're going to get the Rumble cultist's perspective. Jose, what do you make of this whole situation with Angry Joe and JD Vance?
Well, I mean, here's the thing with Angry Joe. There's a word I'd like to call him. And on Rumble, you can use that word, but you cannot use it on YouTube. It begins with an F. It's a 6-letter word. It's a word I like to use quite often.
It's the Melanie Mac word, ain't it?
Yes, it is the Melanie Mac word.
Is it the old-style English word for a cigarette butt?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And here's the problem with Angry Joe and this whole thing where he's starting to enter the political spectrum. You know who else started doing this? G4. Is G4 still around now? You know, after their revival? Nope. South Park doing it. They're seeing record disapproval. Not in the history of ever have people looked at South Park and said, no thanks. You know what? I'm good, because they've doubled down and tripled down on this political nonsense. TDS is not a good look for these people, and it doesn't mean you have to like Donald Trump. It does not mean that. It means that bringing it up is exhausting. People left, right, center, whatever. Nobody's going to give you brownie points. Just I hate Donald Trump. Okay, good for you. Who gives a shit? Like, you know, is this viable for anything? And the thing with the memes is that JD Vance has figured out something very important, and this is because he is in his mid-30s, is he grew up in the culture that a lot of us grew up in. He understands meme culture, and you know what? The old days of, well, I'm offended by that, doesn't work. I remember when Obama was president, I was listening to some talk radio in the car with my dad, and Obama was upset about political cartoons. And in my head, I'm thinking, you know, political cartoons exist for everybody in the history of ever. It's not a Democrat or Republican thing. If you're the president, you're going to be made fun of. Why is Obama acting like a little bitch about it? Because that's what he was. And so the thing about it, JD has figured this out. If you want to win an election in 2028, you need to show you literally do not care what they joke about you. The couch thing doesn't bother him. The fat baby thing where they make him look like some Bray Wyatt nightmare fuel doesn't bother him. You know, JD Vance has figured this out. In fact, when people say negative things about Vance, he sometimes tweets and replies to them with the meme. Yeah. He said to Harry Sisson, after Harry Sisson cried about an AI meme of a dump being taken on Harry's head, I'll ask Trump for you, Harry. Like, this man has figured out how to play the game of social media, which is important. It's something that these dinosaurs that are in politics have no idea. They don't fathom it. But the other thing about it is as was said earlier, it's never a problem when the left does it. A year ago, Tim Walz, IGN. Oh, Tim Walz should be your favorite vice president because he may have owned a Dreamcast once upon a time, and he may have played Crazy Taxi once. Versus the guy who probably grew up on GoldenEye 007 and played with Pokemon and Magic cards and Dungeons and Dragons and all that shit. Look, JD Vance is into a lot of that nerdy shit, all right? That's more appealing because it's sincere, it's genuine. When the left does it, it's Pokemon go to the polls. It's cringe and embarrassing. And now all of a sudden they want a pearl clutch over Pokemon songs and ice videos and Halo memes and JD Vance looking at his meme and laughing at it because he knows how the game is played. As Digny would usually say, you got to know how to play the game. Oh, yeah. JD Vance knows how to do this, and it's going to transition into a successful long-term political career.
Well, people need to understand, folks, that by 2028... since the minimum age to run for president is the age of 35, last time I checked, then someone born in 1993 could run for office. Someone born in the 90s could run for office. So
I can run now, basically, based on age.
Well, you can't because you're not American. But
he can become the mayor of New York.
Yes, he could.
Yeah,
he could with his Bulgarian invaders.
Stellar Blade cosplays all around.
But I will make it clear.
That's going to be my whole platform.
Right here, right now, instead of being engulfed by Trump derangement syndrome, I believe that these people like Angry Joe, should, when you're dealing with someone like Donald Trump, you should always focus on the issue at hand. B, make it quite clear, and I think this narrative would work rather well, that MAGA is all style and no substance. C, that they talk a good game, but they don't actually execute what they say, and essentially twist the narrative against the opposition. But no, you're going to get folks like Gavin Newsom saying, "I hate it when politicians lie," says a politician who lies.
Exactly.
Okay? If that is the future, I think the future of the Democratic Party should be led by younger people, even if they are more radical. What we need is, young, fresh, vibrant voices in our communities across the board, regardless of ideology, folks. I'm sick and tired of being led by 90-year-olds who don't live in the real world.
That's why
it's time for the Dems to embrace 30-year-olds who electrocute their dogs.
Yes,
that's why I honestly believe
that by the way.
That's why whenever the 2028 election will come around, it will be between JD Vance and AOC.
I think it's ridiculous. I think it's a cartoon.
I can't wait to see that
show.
debate.
I think the political discourse is as serious as Angry Joe's rants. And now we get Byron's perspective. And what does he make of all this before we move on? Because we have a lot of things to talk about.
Personally, I very much appreciate that Vice President Vance leaned into the meme and did the whole curly hair thing. Although that was not my favorite moment on X was when he did the bald-headed "Can you hear the screaming" meme. That reminded me of Studio 58. I even responded to it saying, "Hey, Studio 58 has found its new anchor." If you're familiar with analog horror at all, if you're not, you need to go check that out at some point. You'll know exactly what I'm talking about. It was fantastic. Secondly, I think part of the reason why Angry Joe and others of his ilk are so infuriated by Vance and others in the MAGA movement leaning into the memery is for two reasons. One, Jace, you pointed out that, you're not responding the way we wanted you to. Exactly. We're not, because we have become familiar with Saul Alinsky's Rules for Radicals and the concept that your action is actually your enemy's reaction. You're looking to expose them as, quote, reactionaries. That's what they were called on the socio-political right for so many years. So it's robbing them not only of the satisfaction of getting under their skin, they're also robbing the socio-political left and leftists and Marxists, generally speaking, of that much desired, "Oh, look at them overreact. We're not going to give you that soundbite or that clip. You don't get to have that anymore. We have somebody who understands your tactics and your methodologies and is going to spite you for it."
I personally believe, Byron, that the discourse we are facing is as a result of one generation of people simply refusing to step away from the reins of power. They've had their time to shine, and now they should fade away. A man like Donald Trump could easily have been president in the 90s or in the 2000s. Okay, the only reason he is a compelling presidential candidate or president in the 2010s and 2020s is because, let's face it, just like the Mexicans, they're not sending their best in the political class, and Trump embodies that. He's not a perfect figure. I mean, there have been presidents who haven't been politicians. For example, Ronald Reagan, actor, Eisenhower, general, but it's usually a mix of the two. Either they're an entertainment figure, or they're a military figure, or just a career politician. And I think it's important for people to realize that from 2028 onwards, especially in the US, that the people who should lead the charge should be part of the majority of society, okay? Especially in terms of age and, dare I say, national, because I can't use the other term on YouTube, national demographic.
And that's more than fair, particularly given that the downstream consequences and after effects of policies that are voted upon and put into law or viewed as future foreign policy are the results, the knock-on effects are not going to be felt by the current age bracket of folks who are in positions of government office and legislation. They're going to be done and dusted and gone with the wind. They're going to be in the ground, be worm food by the time we see the ultimate result of the numpty policies that they're enacting into position.
Byron, in some cases, they will be worm food, but still be serving in Congress. Just ask Dianne Feinstein. How long did they let that body rot before they finally had to admit she was gone?
Her in unaware. She probably couldn't have even spelled her own fucking name by the time.
I'm sorry to say, Byron, but that's incorrect. You're assuming Dianne was a woman. But in all seriousness,
that's
folks,
right.